Alright, guys, I am back with Repurpose. I don't know if you guys remember me actually playing this game a long time ago. What is the character name? Press backspace if you want to play as a gang's protag, enter Michael for the name. And non binary. B. What did they identify as? A female. Now, did she always identify as female, or did she figure this out later in her life? I am cis. So, guys, it's Pride Month. I know that uh, technically I'm ace. So, I'm also an ally. Just wanted to put that out there. I just didn't know how to go about it because I didn't want you guys to be like, oh no, she's just talking. But anyways, we're gonna go. Always know as a female, the intention is going to be played through, and its majority is character chosen for the journey and cannot be changed. Do you wish to continue as B? Yes. Okay, so we're gonna start this. I don't think we played before. Like we did, but I guess not on this computer. There's nothing but darkness in that moment. And oh my god, I wanted so badly to voice act for this creator because they're super cool. They actually gave me this game for free. They have other games coming out too, which is going to be really cool. But I've been really sick, and every time they have auditions, I want to so badly, but I've been sick and I can't. I couldn't see. I couldn't speak. I couldn't feel anything. And then, in an instant, it was as if my entire being was thrust violently through the air. I wasn't being thrown up or down, but everywhere, and now nowhere at the same time. And before I could muster any fear, I'm gonna butcher all their names too, despite me loving this game. Because I always do, and I can't freaking read. I saw the light. I found myself surrounded by a crowd of people. Uh, this is very loud. For me, at least. People were clambering around a stage, talking loudly amongst one another. It seemed like they were just confused as I was. I tuned out their voices for a moment and rubbed my temples to collect my thoughts. What was I doing before arriving? How did I even get here? I? I can't recall at all. Any memory I could have had as to when and how I got here are non-existent. What? What the hell? Why can't I remember anything? But before I could ruminate on the revelation, two figures took the stage that made the whole audience in attendance go silent. To the left was an elegantly robed man. He had white hair like foam that caked a beach shore, and an odd, dark, discolored pattern surrounded his left eye. A birthmark, maybe? It was hard to tell at a distance. But above all else, he had a large set of wings protruding from his back. His smile was humble, warm, and noticeably nervous as he took the podium. He scanned over the crowd as he waved shyly to us. And to the right, another sharply dressed man took the empty podium across from the angel. His hair was a deep, fiery red and hung just past his shoulders. Everything about his energy exuded confidence, from the way he leaned against stand to the way his amused expression spread across his face. The reason I chose this game is because of Pride Month, is to be honest, because this game actually has so many. There's an ace character, which I was really excited about. There's bi, there's lesbian, they have everyone. It is so cool. Like, I was so hyped up when this came out, and I was like, I cannot believe. I just feel like everyone could be seen. And I really like that when people have a chance to be seen.
Late on the first day of work. Not very kind of you to keep us all waiting. even if we technically have an eternity. Your predecessor was punctual, at least.
I don't know if it's catching his voice, which is concerning.
Silence, demon!
Okay, it is now. Demon? I hadn't noticed it before, but that redhead? He had He had cat-like eyes and horns sprouting from each side of his head. The demon's long black tail swished as if amused before pointing to the other microphone stand.
Oh, this thing on?
The angel seemed embarrassed.
Anyway. Aloha Aina, everyone!
Hello there.
And welcome to the garden. I know all you must be confused as to why you're here, but let me explain where you all are at, yeah? You mean we, right? This here, where we stand, is the Garden of Eden. Even though its trees bear fruit no more, it remains to be the more lovely part of this place. You're rude, like your predecessor too. What is this place, you are thinking, yes? Well, you're in a place that is neither above or below, but nowhere in the middle. Ending up here is extremely rare, and how it happens varies from person to person. Living a listless life, overindulgence, or if your time was cut short. The list goes on. In a way, it's like your path has been erased, yeah? So basically, you're all in limbo. Granted, it has many other names. Limbo, Purgatory, the DMV, just to name a few you've come up with. I'm particularly fond of Limbo. It makes me think of taking a cruise across the endless ocean back home. I could take some of you aboard with me if you'd like. And that brings me to my next point.
I am the Archangel Calais, and I have been assigned to this realm to offer help in crossing over to heaven, or as we like to call it up there, Utopia.
Calais. I constantly called him Callie. Calais. To get to this promised land, your resolve must be tested in one of the towns circling Utopia's gates called Haven Homes. It is there that mortals must perform genuine acts of virtue to prove that they've earned entry to Utopia. You'll be staying in Haven Home outside the realm of Utopia if and when you are ready to ascend. Please be aware that while patience is virtue, there is a time limit of 1 Earth year to prove yourself worthy of citizenship within Utopia's walls. Similar circumstances follow if you want to get into hell. Though we aren't an elitist as Utopia who require you to take a arbitrary morality test. It's nothing much, just denounce Utopia and pledge your unwavering loyalty to hell. We'll even overlook your first 3 misdemeanors to sweeten the deal. But any sins after that, you'll have to undergo some torture to atone. If you get caught, that is, which, given our enforcers, you most likely will. However, if you're not stupid about it, we might just give you a promotion. Oh, don't look scared. It's not any different than what you turned the Earth into. The main difference is that in hell, we actually punish vile and disgusting sex predators. Lucifer hates them the most, so as punishment, we get some nice hot searing blades and take it to their genitals and...
By the choir, have mercy!
And rightfully so. Whoa, okay, we don't need to hear the graphic details, demon. Even if they deserve it. Fine, fine. But in my opinion, that alone still makes hell better than Earth, though I suppose I can talk about some of the other luxuries we have. Like, did I mention we got a 4D theater, a vast shopping center, and Starbucks at every corner to help you get through the literal endless nights?
Oh, and the name's Ramon, by the way. The pleasure is all mine should you want me to drag you to hell.
I forgot his name. Calais? Here I go. Callie. Calais? Since when did hell have a 4D theater? And just what even is 4D? There's a third dimension that can be projected by human means at that? Oh, it's where seats are equipped with features like vibration, wind, strobe, fog, sense to give an immersive experience when a film is playing. I find them quite fun, really, even if I have to make the 3-circle trek down to the MV circle. Just goes to show how behind on the times Utopia is if 2D is as good as it gets. Moving on. There's always the option of remaining here, but fair warning, Limbo is relatively unmonitored territory between Utopia and Hell. Your soul's fate is uncertain, and many residents here live out the rest of their eternity lost. It's pretty much 24/7 free-for-all, so I'd watch your back. However, there's no need to dwell on that, as I'm here to help you cross over to a better place for the allotted time. Please do not be afraid to reach out, as it is my life's purpose to herd you lost souls to peace. Any questions? There's a lot of mumbling and chattering amongst the crowd, all discussing who they want to join. From how they were talking, it seemed like a pretty even split of people intending to follow either one of them. I considered my options. Utopia seemed like the most reasonable decision, given the other was literal hell. But from the way that demons pitched it, aside from a few disciplinaries, hell was like living on Earth. Just discrepancies, not disciplinaries. One valued the morality of a person, while the other checked them as they were, flaws and all. I guess the big question I had to ask myself was, am I a good person? This is bullshit. What? I turned my head to see who that was. It was a short-masked person with rabbit ears that raised their voice first.
This whole system is bullshit! Having to prove how saintly I was? Does activism do nothing for people these days? Christ, dude! Just because hell is pretty much Earth doesn't make it that much better, considering how fucked Earth was when I left it. This holier-than-thou, silver-tongued shtick isn't selling me a goddamn thing.
That's not what I've been trying to say at all!
Perish here then.
Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels this way, right? Who's with me?
The crowd went silent with a few awkward coughs here and there. Even though they had a mask, people avoided eye contact with the haired fellow. A ripped woman in a cropped varsity jacket and goggles spoke up.
Just how technologically advanced is heaven?
She completely blew off the rabbit's head. It's called Utopia. So pretentious. It's inclusive to people of all faiths. But to answer your question, it's as advanced as the residents make it to be. Which, unfortunately for Utopia, leaves a couple of years behind what you're used to. Haha, they still use VHS and Walkmans over there, I bet. Untrue. Calais pulled out a clunky-looking circular device and placed a large set of headphones on his head. We got these portable devices called CD players just last month. Now we listen to music wherever we go. So long as we don't scratch the disc or move too much.
Ay, dear Lucifer.
If you want, I can pencil you in for a tour of hell by the end of orientation, Miss Mitchell.
No need. I've already made up my mind.
Ramon's face lit up.
I'm gonna take my chance with the angel here. I love working on projects from scratch, and it sounds like Utopia is in dire need of an upgrade if it wants to be called my home. Oh, and just call me Mitz. Michelle is my mother's name.
I call her Mitchell. Michelle.
It is what it is.
Suit yourself. I hate to see such brains go to waste, though.
But of course.
Nice, cuz you don't know how happy it makes me to have someone as brilliant as you join us. That is not to say we're not looking forward to the rest of you willing to come as well.
Hang on a second. I'm dead!
Oh shit, dude, you're right! We died?!
My apologies.
Yes,
I
you
can't
are.
be dead! I have a midterm! I've studied really hard for tomorrow.
Kinda not the worst thing to be worrying about, but man, this sucks. Suddenly the realization had dawned on all of us. We were all dead, trapped here in limbo, never to see the surface again. Never to see our friends and families. All our lives had come to an end, whether we saw it coming or not. Noticing the rise of teary eyes and melancholy, Calais and Ramon tried to calm the crowd down before it went into a full panic. Mint spoke up once more. Oh, goodness. Hold on. I have to mute a Discord. Because it is blowing up right now. Unfortunately. You could probably hear it in my video. It spoke up once more, breaking the attention.
How did I die? If I may ask.
The two up on stage looked at each other with uncertainty.
Oh dear.
Are you sure you want to know?
It would just be nice to know how I spent my final moments before getting here.
The angel smiled warmly. I understand. It would bring you some solace and closure, yeah?
Yeah.
I want to know too. I hardly remember a thing. My memories are all fuzzy-wuzzy. Same here, yo. Alright, then. He motioned over to the jacketed woman. Michelle Moore, your time of death was October 25th, 2018 at 8:07 p.m. from blood loss. You were dismantling a robot gifted to you by an associate for its AI system for a personal project when suddenly, the machine suddenly powered on and chewed your whole hand off. Since you lived alone at the time and had your garage soundproofed at the request of your neighbors, no one heard your screams of agony when it happened.
Yeesh! Well, at least I went out the way I lived. Fisting machinery.
She lifted her arm up for anyone to high-five, but it was kind of difficult to do with her hand missing. So she was left hanging. Our sassy little rabbit friend, DJ Roadkill, as most people called them, died in the most ironic and hilarious of ways. July 4th, 2019, perished when a peaceful protest against the police for radically inspired police brutality turned into a full-blown riot. It's unknown who threw the first stone. Just kidding. Of course it was the police. And you were the stone when an officer shoved you in front of an oncoming car. Haha, get it? Because her stage name is DJ Roadkill? I don't think that's fun. DJ Roadkill snickered.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. LOL. Ah, well, guess I died the way I lived too. Sticking it to the fucking man.
If it's any consolation, the chief of the police that sparked the initial cause for protest died during the riot. We've had live shows of his torture ever since. Come to hell and I can get us front row seats for the next showtime. Blah, I have a weak stomach. No thanks. Though knowing the fucker went to the place I always cursed him to go does make me feel a little bit better. It was then the waitress's turn. Rosita Cardenas? Time of death, February 15th. Oh, her death day is 2 days before my birthday. Well, not the year, but 2019, in the heat of a lunch rush at 12:38 p.m. Your cause of death was... Oh.
By the choir, have mercy!
Accidentally worsening a gas leak because of sleep deprivation that resulted in a fatal kitchen explosion? That explains why you're covered in soot.
Please,
Official
forgive me.
cause of death, smoke inhalation. How reckless. We can't divulge whether or not there were other casualties besides yourself, but a fire that big? Well, you can use your imagination as how many people were left medium to well done. Aw, don't be mean to her. Calais gave Ramon a stern look, seeing as the demon's morbid humor wasn't welcome with Rosita. One at a time, they shared the cause of death to those that asked for it. From freak accidents to disease to murder, one of the main consistent themes was many of us were young adults. What about me? I finally managed to get a word in near the end. Oh, you. Let's see there. Calais had closed his eyes, calmly searching through his mind for my answer. His face scrunched up disapprovingly. That's weird. I can't seem to find your time or cause of death at all. What about you, Ramon? Yeah, no, me either. It's all blacked out and redacted. I loathe it when higher-ups do that vague shit.
How very interesting.
How odd. Must have been a pretty brutal and traumatic death, and we're not allowed to privy to that information. In all my time as an escort, I've yet to see someone like you show up. Makes me wonder. So sorry, V. That's okay. That's alright. If it's possibly as traumatic as the demon says, maybe it's better if I don't know. And even if I did know, there's no changing what's done, right? So I just gotta accept it. Calais looked surprised by my optimism.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good way to look at it. Mad respect, bruh. Way to keep a positive attitude.
Thank you. I don't know. This is a lot to take in all at once. I just died after all, and now I'm in Eden within some place called Limbo. I should take it slow and weigh my options before settling on anything. Well, if there aren't any more questions, suddenly a horde of people began to close tighter around the stage, people's concerns rising above one another as they tried to get the speaker's attention.
Oh dear.
Hey! One at a time, please. Ramon, could you? Just as Calais was going to finish his sentence, a muffled song started to chime from Ramon's pocket and he pulled out his phone. His eyes went wide and he began to walk off stage.
Hasta luego.
Cover for me, would you, Lay? I gotta take this phone call real quick. Okay, thanks, bye. Without so much as letting Calais get a word in, he was gone. The angel sighed, clearly annoyed by this development.
Oh, Lords, give me strength.
He took a deep breath to calm his nerves and addressed the crowd before him. We're gonna follow Ramon, I think. Or no, let's stay and listen to Clay. Whatever's going on with the demon doesn't concern me. It'd be better to stay with the group a while longer and see if I can learn anything else from Clay. So, wait, this doesn't make sense. We all died during different months, years even? So how come we all arrived here at the same time?
Actually,
She's got a point, actually. Just what year is it in real time?
But of course.
The last soul that had been collected and transported here was on June 2nd, 2020. Oh, it's today. Transported here on June 2nd, 2025, and the next day is when you all woke up. That's the last day I remember being alive. I kept listening. Since this is such a rare occurrence, we keep your souls in Limbo's clouds until there are enough for it to rain. Eden's roots run throughout Limbo, and your soul's essence is brought back to resemble itself in the very garden all at once. It's all very simple. I see. She nodded her head along, but I think everyone could tell she did not in fact see. I don't think any of us did from the looks of it.
no chance.
That kind of response left me with more questions than answers. And I'd be more than happy to tell you all about it when you made it to Utopia. And if I don't want to go to Utopia or hell, stay here in Limbo. But like I said before, it's not protected by either side. Resources like food and water are pretty limited. Isn't this the Garden of Eden, like from the Bible? Shouldn't there be tons of food here? Clay sighed sadly. Not anymore. Nah. Not for a long time. Since Adam and Eve? Nah. Not that far back. Maybe 400 or 500 years ago, the trees and whatnot just stopped making food. Limbo isn't exactly meant for living, but none of us figured out why that is. Besides, food isn't the only thing you should be worried about here.
For real?
What do you mean? This place isn't exactly the safest either.
Corrupted spirits, shadow monsters, fallen angels, and sadistic demons. Don't think for a moment all demons are as friendly as Ramon.
Speak of the devil. Ramon had returned from where he disappeared off to earlier. Miss me? The angel's eyes rolled. Oh yeah, sure, like a little. I could barely count the seconds. I probably messed up that one too. Never expected the angel to be one for sarcasm. I thought he'd be more of a stickler to proper etiquette, but that seemed to fly out the window when it came to Ramon. But Calais had been so patient with answering all our questions, regardless of how we reacted. I smiled at the angel. Thank you, Calais. You've been very helpful to all of us. Calais seemed surprised by this. Probably because all we've been doing ever since we woke up was pestering about our situation. He smiled kindly, and I could feel his sincerity from where I stood. Even if we were all complete strangers, he wanted to see to it we were taken care of, despite their circumstances. And I can respect that in the end, in a way. Even though he was an angel assigned to help us lost souls, his passion and desire to help us get a better place didn't go unnoticed. After a few more questions from the crowd and teasing from Ramon, Calais started to wrap up things. Oh, no thanks to you. I was able to push up orientation for today. The humans that are interested in Utopia can make a line starting here so I can register you. A swarm of people crowded around Calais, practically drowning him.
By the choir, have mercy!
Whoa, single file line if you can, please. Also, if I don't get to you today, I'm returning tomorrow.
And all the people that want to party in hell, just head towards the one non-shitty looking hotel building in the city and ride the elevator down.
Just like that feather brain, I'll be around tomorrow for those last-minute stragglers as well.
See you soon!
Surprisingly, there were some people who walked out of the garden along with Ramon. There were also a few uncertain folks lingering where they stood as well. Namely, those three from earlier.
Ah, jeez. This is all so much to take in. I don't know what to do.
Well, I, for one, am going to Limbo.
Huh? I thought you said you were going to follow the angel.
Oh, for sure. I just want to see if I can scavenge some stuff while I'm down here. Plus, I'm just curious to see what it looks like. Learn as much as I can about this place and how it works before moving on.
Same here, yo. I bet it's not even as bad as those two had hyped it up to be if this garden is anything to go off of. Let's check it out.
I'm curious as well. Mind if I tag along? B, was it? Yeah, you could come with.
Hooray! Hooray!
The more the merrier, my dad always said. With that, we turned heels and made our way out of the garden. The four of us navigated through the garden for the exit. It was a bit tricky, almost maze-like, but Mitt suggested following the murmurs of the Hell group to find the exit. Once we were out of it, we were instantly met with a sight none of us were expecting. Before our eyes was what looked like a desolate city. Buildings and homes were in a state of poor management, rusting and falling apart at its seams. Trash littered across the eroded streets of the city, and any sort of sun was hidden behind dense, moody clouds. It gave off a depressing and impoverished lifestyle. Should any one of us want to live there? Seems like they weren't lying, huh? No kidding. What a dump, yeah. I can hardly imagine anyone wanting to live in a place like this. Instantly, DJ Roadkill hopped on all our cases.
Come on, man.
Hey, wait a minute. This? DJ Roadkill pointed behind themselves towards the rundown city. I literally used to live in a place not too different from this. Sure, it looks like a couple of riots came through, but I hardly call this place an uninhabitable dump. Don't judge a book by its cover or some shit like that. I guess you have a point. With a little renovation, it'd be half as nice as where I used to live.
You got me there.
I mean, I found a few diamonds in the rough back in my day, digging through my neighbor's garbage. My dad used to make furniture from trash. Were you poor too? Not really. My family is pretty well off middle class. The more bougie people in my neighborhood would just toss shit out without much care. So I'd swipe any electronic appliances for my inventions. Wasteful fucks throwing perfectly good stuff away when they could donate it.
Right on.
Honestly, I couldn't agree with that more, hence why I stole whatever I found useful. Well, can you really call it stealing if they don't want it anymore? I don't think so, but my dad almost got arrested for taking a table our neighbors were tossing away. That's dumb. It was pretty dark that night and the table was really heavy, so my dad knocked over all the trash bins. He tried to apologize by going to the backyard to wake them up through the bedroom window, but they didn't seem to appreciate it. I don't think anyone would, honestly. That fascinating tale of accidental trespassing aside, I noticed something. Hey, where did Mitz go? Rosita and DJ Roadkill and I looked around and saw that Mitz had walked off into the city, waving a backhanded goodbye with her good hand. Aw, here I thought we'd be sticking together. I guess it's just us three. Rosita turned her head and DJ Roadkill had disappeared down too. They had scampered off to follow Mitz. They hollered at us. Let's split up and regroup later. Cover more ground and whatever. Without giving either of us word in, Mitz and DJ Roadkill figures vanished into the streets. Rude.
Aww.
It's just you and me then, B. Promise you won't let me either. I have a much better chance of survival tagging along with someone. We're in completely unfamiliar and different realm of existence, after all. A partner at my side didn't sound so bad. Yeah, sure, why not? We can stick together for a little while.
Yay!
Let's go then. Rosita and I made our way through the city. For a fairly large town, it was pretty empty of citizens. And the people we did come across didn't seem to want anything to do with us. Occasionally, we saw some things lurking around corners and inside buildings, but we kept our distance and went unnoticed. Still, Rosita clung to my arm at a moment's notice one of us would fall or lose sight of the other. Not to mention, she would practically lift me up when we ran from even the mildest of noises. Despite her demeanor, Rosita was pretty fit for the way she hauled me around for such a distance. I asked her to pull over for a moment so we could take a breather. I was exhausted from all the exploring, so we looked to take shelter inside one of the abandoned stores. She took an overview of her surroundings and audibly gasped, gripping my wrist once more as she led me into a small building. It's a restaurant. A restaurant?
OMG! This place! It's an authentic 1920 Sweetie Shakes Diner trademark establishment!
How can you tell? I worked at one of the recreations of these restaurants. The recreations play up the retro vibe to 100 with checkers, neon, and metal. But the first few diners were just simple, small, family-run eateries in Northern California. Then in the 1970s, Henry Sweet sold the brand, and by the end of the 90s, they were Sweetie Shakes on half the street corners in the U.S. and parts of Canada. It was all in instructional 2-hour-long documentary feature employees were required to take as a test for their job. I know some jobs have weird requirements to meet before applying, but that's just ridiculous. Beats needing to pass the experience for an entry-level job at other places. And they gave me free popcorn to munch on during the movie. Oh, that's time. It was a little stale though. Let's go ahead and save. I hope you guys are enjoying, because I sure am. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.